what the whole point was. Hey there, that scene's like, bye. It's going to go away in a sec here. I know it is. There we go. All right. So the whole point here is that when you make scenes for Ecamm or whatever platform, if you are an OBS fan, you still probably want to create scenes. But my preferred tool is Ecamm Live, which only works on a Mac, and I do have a link in my description that will get you 14 days free of Ecamm if you want to try it out. I'm an OG for Ecamm. I have been an Ecamm fan forever, and so I like to create scenes. And if you have been on the show, if you've seen the show, the live streams I do on Tuesday nights, you know I like to change scenes a lot. And so I was talking through all the different scenes that I usually go through, and so I think about what scenes do I need for my live stream I'm gonna do. I probably need an intro. So for me, I often do my thumbnail as my intro screen, just to let people know, hey, you are where you thought you were going. And then countdown timers, I don't do those anymore. I have done some hidden countdown timers to change scenes for me, but I don't use those very often. Guests, are you going to have a guest on that night? If you're going to have a guest on, then you're going to want to have scenes that emphasize the guest. So like, for example, this is when Gretchen was on. I had a scene specifically for her so that she could talk, and then when David talked, and so that way they have a scene that's focused on them. But then at the same time, I had scenes also focused on the other guests on the show. So there was a scene where I have a scene, and Gretchen was in one, and David was in one. And I usually base my scenes when I'm having guests on about what their interests or niche are. So David being a piano player, I had stuff that had David featuring a piano behind us. Gretchen being, having been a former librarian and a teacher and a photographer, I put books behind us, Then I'll have a scene that's me. I don't bring me up very often because when I have guests on, I want very much to focus on my guests. I don't focus on myself. If I wanted to focus on me, I could do a show by myself, and that would be just me, So I also will always create a scene called Guest Just in Case, where if I am doing a live stream and there's a chance I might have a guest, or I don't plan for a guest, but something occurs and it makes sense to bring a guest on, then I will always have a scene created so that I can bring on guests just in case. So I call it Guest JIC, just in case. With Ecamm, you could do scrolling stuff. Be sure to subscribe. And then I was talking about, also with Ecamm, you can do videos. So here I did a thing where I was talking about sadness and experimental and happiness, and I like the fact that you can include these kind of things and things like that. And then you can also create a folder and in Ecamm and have it set up with a timer where it'll change scenes every so many seconds. So I have this one set, for example, to every 10 seconds, and it changes, and then in 10 seconds it'll change again. But let me show you other things. So one night I had a guest on, and I set it up so he could ask him questions. And so I made scenes with the questions and shifted the guests around on the screen. And I thought this was an interesting way to do presentation. This was just a one way. I'm always looking for new ways to do presentations. And so I will experiment with different scenes, trying to figure out what's the magic that keeps it interesting for you guys, at the same time shares information. Here's that Susan was a guest, but it's been a while now. And then I'll have a screen just focused just on Susan by herself. So I went through and copied all my scenes and put them together. And then I have a plain scene where I don't list the guest name at all. And then confetti for the guest, of course. So, lots of different scenes. And then I'll have my shout out screens where I'll do different shout outs. And then here's a vertical. Anyway, Tech Troublemaker. And then I'll have an outro. So different things. So it's all very much about figuring out what you're going to do with your show and then going through the process and creating scenes for that show. So I'm going to try to do demo time. Let me check on everybody first before I do that. Make sure everybody reads me Lima Charlie now. I did something interesting and moved my I made my screen really big, so when I go to live demo mode, you guys can see the main screen. That's what I wanted to do, so we'll see what happens. It's great to have those visuals. Yes, I like to have visuals. We can hear you now. Yes, all right, yay. When I closed out profiles today, it jumped to my MacBook microphone, which of course is not. Can't stay too long, but glad you feel better. Yeah, I am feeling better, but I took a COVID test tonight. I'm still positive, so I'm still in isolation. Anyway, hoping it will go away soon, but that's how it goes sometimes. All right, so I'm going to go to live demo mode. Let's see what happens. So I want to talk about creating scenes, and so we'll focus on, let's say, for example, I want to create an intro scene. We'll go there. So live demo mode, let's see. Hello? Yes. Oh, sorry, I have to say yes, I do want to go to live demo mode. Ta-da. So hopefully, over here on this side, you see scenes and you see overlays. So in an Ecamm world, you have scenes, you have overlays. And so each scene can have their own overlays. And then what you have to watch for is you've got, let's just do a zoom in here. There we go. So right here in overlays, you see showing all scenes, showing current scene, and showing background. Now, I rarely use showing background very often, but showing all scenes. So when I do a comment, that usually shows up in all scenes. That's why if I change scenes, it carries over to another scene if I were to change scenes. That's why, like, for example, when I showed Amy's info earlier, it carried over when I changed scenes. It was still there, but the color was dark, so you couldn't see it, so it was kind of messed up. And then up top here, I have scenes. And so you'll see there's always a default scene, an intro scene, a vanilla scene. Vanilla, I always create a vanilla scene. The vanilla scene, the intent of it is that there's no banners, there's no anything, no overlays. It's just me, or it's just you, whoever. I do that so I have no borders, anything. It's just boring, just so that, hey, if I've overwhelmed everybody with dazzling lights and everything, I can kind of back it off. And then you'll see that I've got like a blank canvas. That was just something I created. Graphic vanilla. And then here is, let's keep scrolling here. Da-da-da. So here was my bounce. So you can create a folder with a timer on it. And if I click on this, I could say fixed interval, advance the next scene, transition cross dissolve. How often do I want you to change? I could change it to 5 seconds. So now it's every 5 seconds it'll change. So if I go to that scene now, it'll show that scene, and then in 5 seconds it'll show this scene, and then in 5 seconds it'll go. And you could have a whole series of scenes. There are amazing creators like Take One Tech, Alec at Take One Tech, who plans out his live streams so tightly that he literally has it all set up where he goes through one by one by one by one by one. And he doesn't have to do any edits because he does the whole thing in one take. It's rare that he has to edit because he has planned it out to that level. I am not that meticulous. I kind of go the other direction. I don't want to get that intricate into the whole deal. And so I kind of go a different direction. And so let's say, for example, now we want to create the intro scene. So we're going to go, and I'm going to go to my blank canvas here, and I'm going to say this plus sign right here is new scene. Let me zoom in on that so you can see it. So new empty scene. This is a duplicate of current scene, so if I had a scene I like, this is to create a new group folder so you can group scenes together. And then this right here is you create like automatic groups. This is the one where you can do the timer. And then here is export selected scenes, and then trash, delete scene. Now, before you do anything in Ecamm, I highly recommend, if this is your first time, so I'm in the beta, but these all work just the same. They go up to profile and choose export current profile. That is a way for you to back up your profile, and that way you have a backup, a place you can go back to in case all heck breaks loose. And so I recommend doing an export of the profile. So we'll say export current profile, and then it'll pop up and it'll say, what do you want to name it? And I'll just JIC because I did this one earlier. And I have a folder created called Ecamm Backup. So that's where I back it up to my Ecamm Backup folder. And then inside here, you'll see all these Ecamm profiles. So I can go back to these previous profiles at any time I want to. And it does store everything in there with the stream size, everything, all that aspect ratio, all that stuff is stored in there. Now, if you move things from where the profile thinks it is, you have to go and find it again and put it back. So it's very important to keep things right where they are so that they work, okay? So let's go and let's begin the process of making a new scene. So here we go. We created scene 1. And scene 1, if you go up to source, I always set it to go blank. I don't want anything on the screen, so I can start fresh. And then I can go, and here I go to overlays, and right here I can go at image, I can do animate overlay, I can do screen share overlay, I can do text, I can do text box overlay, shape overlay, countdown timer, a widget. Widgets are interesting, we'll talk about that. Camera overlay, and a new group. So I'm going to go with screen, just blank overlay. So this is a rectangle, and you can take this rectangle and resize it and change the color. Now this is my quote unquote brand color. But I can go here and say, you know, I want it cyan, or I want it green. So I'm over here changing the colors of it. Magenta. There's other colors, of course. I can make it orange, which is way too bright for anybody. Yellow, white. You just got to pick what color you like. I'm going to go with blue. Okay. So there's blue. And it's a rectangle shape. I could change it to be a square or a circle or a squircle. I love squircles. So it fills the whole screen, and that's the color. I could put a border around it. One of the cool features is motion. With motion, you can choose 2 colors, and it will. I'll go over here and I'll say green as the first one, and I'll set that to be magenta, and then I set it to motion, and you'll see that the border around is changing color, and the colors are going around it. So, all right, yeah. And you can change up opacity. Yes, it doesn't see it at all. Rotation, perspective. This does interesting things. So if you want to kind of look at it like things are at an angle, you can do that. So I don't use that very much, but that was a big thing for a brief moment in time. Everybody was like, how do you do that? People blend. You can change different things here. Abstract hue, luminosity. And then transitions. I don't use transitions a lot, but some people do. They love them. They use them a lot. So anyway, so that's the kind of stuff that you can do with it very easily. Now, I will go up to overlays, and I'll say camera overlay, and I'll choose camera A. So in Ecamm, there's a camera switcher, and you can have different cameras here. And so rather than having to change, if I do camera A on every scene and then go on the camera switcher and say suddenly, you know what, I want it to be the my FaceTime HD camera or something like that, or I want to choose a guest, it will change that camera A in every scene to be that same thing. And so that keeps you from making yourself insane. So I do highly recommend using the camera switcher and choosing the cameras down here. Now, earlier my cell phone wanted to be part of the Joy and be a second camera, but I took it off. I didn't want to have it be a camera. I still could. Here's the guest. So anyway, so that makes it easier to change this out to whatever I want it to be. And I can go and change it shape custom, or I can have it tall, or I can have it square, squircle, or I can have it circle, square, classic, and wide. But I usually do custom so that I can shape it any way I want. I can also say, you know what, I don't want it to have rounded corners, so I'll flatten it out. I don't want you to have a border. I'll go and turn none, or I can make it a color. Okay, I'll make it a color. What the heck? Color is green. There you go. It has green border, and I'll bump up the width to 2. What the heck? And so, yeah, this is, Ecamm is just such a great program, and I can do shadows and stuff. So now you see kind of a shadow underneath it. And these are just things you can do in Ecamm, okay? This is not really the focus. The focus here is very much about the run of show. What is my run of show? And so I think about what my intro is. So like I said, I always start with an intro like this, and I will drag in a song to play, and then I'll drop to the vanilla, and then I'll if my audio is set correctly, I will, hey everybody, how you doing tonight? And I will do my hook, what it's supposed to be. So obviously I messed that up because without audio, it's really hard to hook people. So anyway, but going back to our blank scene. So we got the blank scene that we created, and if my intro scene is, like this, and you'll see there is a band, so I can like set where I want my camera to be exactly. And then I can then say, hey, I want to do text. Welcome to the show. I can do welcome to the show and add, and then there, like I said, there's a little line there. You'll find it. As you move things around, those guides will pop up and help you. Let me see if I can really focus in on them. Yeah, you see those guides? Those guides help you to focus it up and make sure you put it exactly where you want it. And so if you have OCD, like I do partially, and you want things centered, then this is what that does for you. It allows you to center things up. And so I'll admit this right now is not a very interesting scene, but I just wanted to kind of give the concept of, hey, here you can create different scenes, and then you want to name it something. So I try to name it something that makes sense. Intro is what I'll name it. Let's see if I function over here so you can see intro. I hit enter, and so now I have an intro scene. And if you have a Stream Deck, you can then go and program all this stuff to be on the Stream Deck so it pops it up when you want it to go. All right, so let's say this is my intro scene, and then we go back. We say now I want a countdown timer for some reason. So we'll go back to the intro scene, and I can put a countdown timer on here. So I'll go here, and right here, you'll see an option to do countdown timer. So I'll say, well, how long I want this countdown timer to be. So I'll go up here and change it to say I want 1 minute. And then I can tell it to go to next scene when finished. When I go to the scene, I can have it automatically start. I can count down to a time every day, count down to a date and time, a clock, a stopwatch. I have lots of options, but we'll do amount of time, and we'll change that back to 1 minute. And then we can determine like what you want the text color to be. So if I want text color, I think I want text color to be white. And I think I want the background to be a different color. So edit background, and now I can go up here and choose what color I want it to be. Let's say red. I like that. It's kind of flashy. And then I can tell it what size I want. Let's say 64, I want it to be giant. And you want to pick a font that looks cool. That looks kind of cool. I kind of like that countdown timer. And I can line it up with this. There'll be the little guideline will pop up here in a second. All right. So, will it now? Okay. And it will help me put it, and I'll put it right here. And I have it set to go to the next scene. Now, I don't have a scene, but it has to be a scene right after it to make it do that. So I will go and I'll drag this scene into that folder so it has something to go to when the timer runs out. And so now, let's say I decide to do a countdown timer, and it goes to the next scene, and I think the next scene is just a vanilla graphic. So we'll see what that winds up being. So now I've got an intro scene. Now this one's not very pretty. I'm going to go here and edit. And edit the text, and I think I want it centered. Yeah, I want it centered. Now I got to move it. There we go. Okay. I'll move my timer down. So you got to figure out what do you want, what makes sense for you. Notice I put my hand in front of the camera. It tries to focus on my hand. So, and it changed scenes. So there you go. It changed scenes when the timer finished up. So if I go back to that intro, it will start that timer again. And then at the end of the timer, it will go to a new scene. And so if you're doing a countdown timer and you start off with, upbeat music, and maybe you can dance. I can't, but if you can dance, that might be an interesting way to start your show. Or you may do a stinger kind of an intro. Hey guys, I'm doing this right now. Hey, thanks so much for watching. When that timer hits, we'll start the show. I am so glad you're here. Thank you so much for being here. This is going to be an amazing night. Thank you for being here. We're going to talk about scenes. And so then let's go back to are we going to have guests on the show? So let's go say we are going to have guests. And so I like to do scenes like this. So I showed you this earlier though. I'll have a scene that is focused on my guest who's going to be on the show. That's just them and highlights their name or where you can find them on YouTube and that type of thing. And then I will have a scene where I have them in this. And so with Ecamm, guest one, so when I have the guests come out of the green room, I will assign them a scene, a guest number, which is one of the many cameras that you have. You can pick and say, okay, guest one, guest two, and I've already figured it out. And on my show, ladies always go first. So if I have a guest there, I'm gonna let the ladies go first and talk first on my show. That's just me, how I do things. And so then I'll have guest two, and so then I will switch back and forth between this scene and the scene where they're talking by themselves, if they are the main focus of the conversation that's happening at that time. And then, for example, then like when David was on, David was the primary focus, and then David and guests, and so I would go back and forth. And that is my approach to doing these scenes, and it's real easy. So you get the guests. So here's guest one, here's guest two, here's camera A. So I'm camera A, and then pixels. So that's just the background I put there. I'll start with a blank scene, and I will then put my cameras in. I can go here and hide them. If I get really happy with the scene, I can lock it and say, okay, lock that scene so I can't change it. So let me show you up here. So right here, this is the lock you could do on the scene. You can also lock elements of your overlays. So let's say here's the overlays, and I like camera A being right where it is. Don't let me change it for nothing. So I can change anything but that if I don't have the scene locked. And so I can go and lock my guest cameras, and I can change out the background. So I don't usually go this level of locking things because I like to change things on the fly a lot. I do it often. It's probably a horrible thing, but this is just my process. And so if I want to make sure that I am keeping things like that, that's what I'll do. So that's just kind of my process there. Yeah. And so like I said, I don't normally lock this element of my scenes, but I can. And so this is just, I'll go to a website such as pexels.com, and I will find something that I want to have as a background scene. And that's what I want to do. So let's see who's out there in the chat. Let's say hi to everybody here. I got my chat in a weird place tonight. Ecamm is such a great program. This is great thoughts about creating a show. Hey, I see a piano. Woohoo! Ravens Talk with Yolanda. Hey, welcome. Thank you so much for being here tonight. So tonight I'm talking about scenes because I get accused of doing so many scenes on my show, and I wanted to talk about my thought process. And so, hey Pierre, how you doing? Welcome. So I showed you creating an intro scene and a countdown timer and guest scenes. I could do one from scratch. It's real easy. So we will go and I'll go back over here and blank canvas. And so we focus in. I'll click on create new scene. So the scene starts off blank, and then I will perhaps put a background on, or like I said, I'll go out the pixels and find something about my particular guest that I want to emphasize. So real simple to go over here under overlays, and I'll click on a shape, and I'll do it. So there it is. It has a border already because that was, Ecamm will remember the last thing I did. So I'm going to go back and say no border. And so then it'll do that. Yeah. So anyway, so then I've got a background, and then I will go up here and I'll do overlays, and I will say camera, and I will choose, let's zoom in there. So I go to camera overlay. So I got a whole list of overlays here. Show overlays window, and I will go camera overlay. I'll choose scene one. So there's me, and I will shrink me down, put me over there, or I'll put me in the corner. When I have guests on the show, I'm the least important person on the show. And so my thought process is that, okay, I'm just going to, now, and I can right click on this. Let me show you. I can right click on this and choose duplicate, and right click on this and choose duplicate. And so I have two more windows that are just the same. And so now I can go here and say, this is guest two. So let me show you that. I'll zoom in. I'll say guest two will be in that one. And then here, I'll change this to be guest one. And so now I've got, oops, something linked them up there. Let's undo that too. What did I do that? Okay. I did such a good job of duplicating that it is keeping the characteristics. Stop that. Don't do that again. All right. I'll make that guess one. How interesting. I've never seen it do that before. I did something crazy. I did such a good job of copying and pasting. All right. So it's okay. Okay, so guess one. Edit. Camera A. Okay. And overlay. Overlay. Guess one. Guess one there. Overlay. Camera. Guess two. So now everybody has their own little box. And then I try to eyeball them, get them the same shape. Now you'll see the little line. So you just there for a sec. See a little blue line? I probably need to focus in, zoom in so you see it. It's not there when I let go, but anyway. Okay, so a little focus line. Little line shows up there. You can barely see it, but there it is because I'm doing blue. I'm doing dark blue. Let's see. If I change to a white screen, it'll probably be easier to see. So let's change the background here to white. It'll be bright. It'll blind everybody, but then you'll see colors, right? So now you see the blue line. It's a little bit easier to see. So there it is. So I can line those up and then figure out. So in this case, I want it is make that camera A and camera A. Oh, I see what happened. Yeah, camera A is camera A. There we go. All right, so I'm back. I'm back, y'all. All right, so I'm gonna put him in the lower corner here. I'll put guest 2 up here, and then I'm gonna resize them accordingly. And see the blue line pops up, so I'll shape this out and get this approximately the same size. And then this one, because my focus is on my guest, and then I will make this bigger, and then I may resize these to match the corners, or I may put a border around it. Okay, so okay. So there, I've done it like that. Yep. And so now I've got it set up. Now I can easily change this to be guest. I could be me in 3 places because that's what everybody wants, of course, right? Guess one. Oh, there we go. Let's change it. Actually, I want it to be. It's better to pick camera A. There we go. Like I said, make sure you use camera A, B, and C. There's camera A. And then here we go. Change this so back to camera A. All right, so now it's me in 3 places. All right, how exciting. And I can go and change the borders around what I want. So maybe this is just a little too much. And so you'll see the colors pop up in the corner here. So I'll go over here and pick a better color. I'm a big fan of blue. Sometimes if I know a person's favorite color, I will change the colors to match that. So here I would have guest 1. And over here I'd have guest 2, and then I'd have me. And so there's my scene. I would then go and name the scene 3 guests. Or I may name it after the person that's going to be on the show. And I do this so that it's easier to keep up with all this kind of stuff. And I can do, scrolling tickers and stuff like that. So I go here, and I can go and say, hey, I want scrolling ticker and da-da-da-da. Hey, Troublemaker. Hope I spelled trouble right. There we go. Ta-da. Add. So I have a scrolling ticker that's very uninteresting. That's just... and then I can do name tags underneath each person. So let's see. Roy. And add. And I can take Roy and put it underneath Roy. This is going to annoy me, so I'm making this go away. So make the ticker go away. I could have also gone over here and hid it rather than deleting it. So, hey, I like it. No, I don't like it. Type of thing. And so that's just kind of the whole process that I go through as I'm planning out the whole thing. Let's do some shout outs. Let's see. I see some folks out in the chat. Let's say, hey. Da, 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 da. Hey, Yolanda, welcome. Ravens, hello. Pierre, evening all. Pierre, welcome to the stream. Hey, Tiny Piggy, hope you're feeling better. I am feeling better. I'm still failing the test, so it still says I'm positive. So I'm still laying low from the family, and spraying enough Lysol to probably cause a toxic waste. So, just Tornado, welcome. Latif, you should play a grand someday. Play on a grand someday. Hey, Roy. Hey, I've been seeing you everywhere today. Awesome to see you guys. Thank you so much for coming by. So I'm just kind of talking through my process of scenes. And so going back, so that's what I would do for guests. And then I work on screen shares. And I really do think about the whole show. What do I need for that show? You know, like I said, I don't use countdown timers anymore, but they do serve a purpose, and there are times when it makes sense to have them. So a screen share is easy enough. I create a new scene. So I'll go back to my blank canvas and up here in the corner here. So here I am, a blank canvas. I'll go down and say new scene. So here's my new scene. And then I'll go up to overlays, and I will do, cancel, not what I needed. Go up here to overlays, and I will choose screen share overlay. And so then I will stretch out however big I want. And then I have to make a determination here. Several things I have to determine. What do I want to share? So with Ecamm, I can share, go up here and show, I can share primary display, or I can share a current application. For example, I got Camera Hub, and I got Pro Mount. I shut down a lot of programs, so it's not showing a lot of stuff for me to share current applications. So I didn't think I closed Chrome, but I guess maybe I did. But I can go here and pick, what I want to show. I could actually do the chat as a comment reactions. I don't recommend that because a lot of times people worry about what people might say, and so therefore, but I can share the chat right here in the scene. So that's just a thought. And then I'll go up and I will pick, but usually I'm sharing like a PowerPoint or a Chrome screen, or I'm sharing the whole screen. And then next overlay I would want to do is go and do a camera overlay. So there's camera A. So here I am beside camera A. Now this looks like insanity, I know. Just wanted to kind of show this here. And then if I want to put colors around it, I can go drag a picture and put a picture around it, or I can go here and just draw a frame. Let's see if I can find an interesting picture to put up here. So use your imagination. I don't know what this picture is. Don't listen, use your imagination. So there we go. So I want that in the back, so I'll say send to back. All right. Or I could have gone over here and dragged it to where, so whatever's at the bottom is what's at the back. So if I want it in front of the screen share, or if I want it in front of me, I can drag it like that. So I'm going to put it back to the back. So there it is. And so it's just that easy to kind of add in images and whatever to your scene. Or if you say, it just doesn't work for me, I can hide it, or I can go here and I can function to go delete it. So, just my process that I go through, and I think through what I'm going to share. I often share Keynote, or I share PowerPoint, or I share Chrome, or if I'm demonstrating something that's going to take the entire screen, then I will do something like this where I share the entire screen. So yeah, and so I can go back here and edit the scene and say, what I want to show is primary display 1. So then it shows my entire display, and if I had the toolbar up, you'd see a toolbar pops up. And so, yeah, so then I can show the whole screen, and if I have a particular program that I want to show you, then I can show you that. Ain't life grand? All right, so now going back. Okay, so we got screen share. If I were doing a presentation, so let's see, let's open up Keynote. Applications. And Keynote. We're on a Mac, right? I do have Office as well, because you unfortunately can't live in this world and not have Office. All right. So I opened up a presentation. It's very dynamic. Yes. So I can go back to Ecamm and I can go back to my sharing scene. Where's my new scene? I didn't name it. Sharing. Okay. Now it's named sharing. I know you probably can't see it because everything is green. I can do sharing. All right. So here's what. So that's the reason it's green like this. Let me go back to sharing. The reason it's green is because I was using a green screen effect. And so watch this. We'll do this. I'll take this and I'm going to change this picture to be 16 by 9. There we go. 16 by 9. And I'm going to drag it out to there. And I'll drag it over. Okay. And Keynote, I'm going to go and hit the play button. Okay, now I'm going to go back to Ecamm, and I'm going to say on the sharing, I can edit the sharing up here. Okay, so anyway, I'll temporarily move my share screen in front so it doesn't fight me. There we go. All right, and I'm going to go say key green screen. So when I key green screen, because I used a green screen like that, so now if I change this, if I change this right here to just be Keynote, hang on just a second, I'm going to cough. Sorry about that. So yeah. So now because I did green screen and I keyed out green, I can put the words here. And as I change slides, because I'm in display, because I'm in the mode I'm in, because I'm in live demo mode, it's not working, but now it is right now. So you see how the text is over here, but I'm able to show through the whole thing. And so that is another way. I've experimented with so many different ways of trying to present things. And so that was just another approach. Is there time we use notes on Keynote, or do you put them on the screen? That's a good question. Let's go take there's a question in the chat there. Let's go look at it. Hey Roy, is it odd that you don't use countdown timers anymore? It's because I can't dance, Sammy. I can't dance. No, it's the problem is that for one thing on live streams, replays, nobody wants to watch the 10-minute countdown timer unless there's something interesting happening. Hey Yolanda, hey Dora. All right. So the question is there a time when you use notes on Keynote or PowerPoint? Do you put them on the screen? So I have done that. I've also used Canva to do presentations as well. Canva does a good job of presentations, and I will get it to present one screen and it put the notes on another screen. I'm usually, when I've done my notes, I've usually prepped a lot. I over prep. I know with as often as you release content, Tora, it's probably a challenge for you to memorize that stuff. And so then, I mean, I know you know your scriptures and that type of thing, but you know, definitely if you want some notes to kind of help, I think, yeah, you could definitely present them in another screen. And what would happen, let me show you that, is that in Ecamm, you can say, if you had two PowerPoint windows open, you could tell it which of the two you wanted to present. Let's see if I can do a notes view real quick. So let's see, slide. Let's stop presenting it. And let's see, play full screen. So I don't have any notes. So let me add some notes to the slide. Range. I have to do PowerPoint. I suddenly don't remember how to do notes in Keynote. So let's go to PowerPoint. PowerPoint. Okay, Microsoft PowerPoint. Okay. All right. Let's see. Getting 1% better every time. So let's double click. So here is this presentation. And so I go to slideshow. And let's see. Presenter view. All right. So here I am doing presenter view. Let's see if I can get the Ecamm here. Hello, Ecamm. I need you where I can do what I need to do. Hang on. Let's do. It's taking over. Hang on. I'm going to have to get out of live demo mode long enough to monkey with Ecamm. Come on. All right, fine. Okay. So what I can then do, going back to the share, sharing and edit. So I can do PowerPoint. So when I'm doing the sharing, and this is the hard part, is when I'm doing the sharing, what I have to do is I have to go and tell it. Let's go to PowerPoint. Click on Ecamm, go to PowerPoint, slideshow, and setup show. And so I always tell it to do it in a window instead of full screen. Let's see. Let me see what I can do here. Show monitor, slideshow monitor, automatic. It'd be nice if I could change that. So it didn't. So anyway, there is a way to do it. I'm trying to remember how because I've done it before. Presenter view. So the catch is, let's see, use slideshow. Yeah. So when both of them are playing, this is where it gets tricky. If I could get back to Ecamm, I should be able to tell it to show the presentation window in Ecamm, and then let the other monitor show the slide. But it's tricky. It's so tricky. Anyway, it's not behaving right now. And, when you're trying to do it live, things don't always work the way you want. Isn't that the sad part about it? Let's go back to live demo mode. Yes, I'm turning on live demo mode. Thank you. All right. So, yeah, we'll have to play around with that more. And then shout outs. So, do you want a way to bring up comments? And so, I'll create a scene then for comments. I'll call them shout outs, but you can call them whatever you want. I'll go up here and I'll do I'm back up here in the scenes and I'll do a new scene and I call it shout outs, but you can call it whatever you want or outs. And I never my shout outs because I usually do lots of shout outs. Tonight I've been trying to keep to just one. Shout outs too. Yep. And so then I will do overlays. I'll do camera overlay. Hey, okay, there's that. And then I'll resize that down. I may put a video behind it, and then I will go, of course, and go to overlays, and I'll add the placeholder overlay. I will add the placeholder overlay. Interesting. I'm self-destructing on screen, y'all. Anyway, it's probably there, but it's because I don't have any color. Let's try it now. Overlay, placeholder overlay. It's giant. I gotta fix this. Okay. I hate when it does this. This happens when I'm in 4K. I have to go and find the end of it to fix it. So, overlays, place overlay. Edit text box. Let's see. Shrink to fit. Let's do dynamic. Okay. Yeah. All right. Cool. Save. And add placeholder overlay. All right. So I'm getting close. I got to shrink it down now. All right. So I'll shrink it down. I'll move it over here. And then I'll resize it. Oop. Now I got to go fix it. So I can change it to whatever size I want it to be. Yep. One of those nights. All right. Shrink. All right. So then I'll go over here and I'll make it. And I usually make the head as big as possible. And then this background is annoying me, so I make it go away. And so then we'll go over here and click on this. Ta-da! Oh, it might help if I change the text to a different color because you can't see it because it's... All right, so edit text. And let's make it text color cyan. There we go. Now if I add Pierre's comment, cyan. All right, it doesn't look good yet. I gotta fix this. It's not Pierre's fault. It's Roy's fault. Edit text. Oh, it is really small. 48. There we go. Giant. There, that's better. Not great, but better. So anyway, yeah. So I'll play around with that. I know that Tor was having issues last night with chat doing craziness, and I'm having a chat crazy night myself. So let's see. Add the rectangle. Change the color to something less jarring. Let's go with cyan. Why not? There we go. Let's go cyan. And let's move camera there. All right, there we go. All right, so now we're getting closer. That's what I was trying to figure out. Yeah. So that's what the rundown is. Yeah. Well, yeah. Yeah. So let's move this over, stretch this out. So there, I can make the text even bigger. So yeah, I'm going through that process like that. So whenever I'm thinking about my shows, what are my things I'm going to do? And so, the other thing is in a call to action. So, very much we've talked about this before on this show, is that if you give everybody multiple calls to action, they will probably not do anything. Let's say, I need you to hit that like button. I need you to share it. I need you to subscribe. If I give you 3 things, I'm going to be lucky if you do any of those. So I need to be fixated on what's that one thing I want you to do when you're watching this video or when this video is over. In my particular case, the thing I want you to do is subscribe. And so I went and found a graphic. You can also make graphics in Keynote. I have done that as well. So that probably could be an entire episode all by itself, is to make an episode where it's where I'm doing graphics in Keynote. It's very easy to do animated graphics in Keynote. I've done lower thirds. I've done calls to action, that type of thing. I do apologize. I'm going to cough again. Sorry about that. So you got to figure which one your call to action to be. And so you got to then go and make a scene for that. So I'll go here, back to live demo mode, and I will do a blank scene and CTA. And then if you've got some graphics or overlays or things that people have given you or that you bought, it's great to use those. I think for this case, I'm going to drag it out. So I'll leave it custom, and I'll drag it out to cover the whole screen. And then I will go and search for my assets. I have a YouTube folder I put everything in. Then I go find a subscribe button. WebM. Let's see. I don't know what this one looks like. Let's find out. I'll drop it. That's too much. Too much. Covers the whole screen. So I don't like that one. I'll go look and find like, subscribe, and share. Watch, subscribe, thanks. Nope. Subscribe for. Let's see what this looks like. I don't see it. It's really small, whatever it's doing. Oh, not that one. Okay. Make that one go away. All right, let's try again. Subscribe for. So anyway, so I have folders where I put things. Let's see what that looks like. That's not very nice. I don't like that one. So let's get rid of that. I'm trying to find one of my mini assets. So I thought I had one pulled up and ready to go for tonight, but I'm not finding it right now. So this is going to make me crazy. But usually I'll have like a video. Let's see what this looks like. Nope, not that one. I remember that one. Okay. Undo. Delete overlay. There we go. All right. Delete overlay. So anyway, find your subscribe button. You can make one even. So we'll go here. All right. So subscribe. I'm going to change the text to white. I'm going to change the background to red. Instant subscribe button. Let's see. Dynamic scrolling ticker. Let's see. I don't want to do anything. Let's see. Just add. So there's a subscribe button. And then I could add a, go into Ecamm and add a, I hid my sound effects earlier, but I could go into Ecamm and go sound effects and add a bell. That's a timpani roll. Let's see. I need a bell. Almost as good. So then when I do my CTA, be sure and subscribe. Thank you so much for subscribing. And so that's your call to action that you do. I think there we go. I had put a video file behind there. So anyway, so that's the one way, and I could go into Keynote and make an animation of that so it dances around, and so I have some stuff like that. And then, last but not least, outros. So I have bought some canned outros before, but I've also gone into Canva and made my own. So I'm a big fan of Canva. I do have a pro account. I'm not trying to sell you on pro, but let's see. Outro. I'll go and find one of my outros. So this is one I did in Canva, and I took some of their movies and stuff, and I edited it down, and it does have some animation. And so I put my subscribe button on the end screen here, and then I'll put the placeholder for the next video that YouTube suggests here. And then I'll have me as my video self here. And so that's just one thing. If anybody wants this one, I'll even share this one with you. But this is, it's not that hard to make, but we'll go and save it out. Saves out as an MP4. And so while that's saving, I'll pop up here in a sec. Saying we'll go to Canva. We're going to go create a new scene. Blank. And we'll call it outro. It's already have an outro, so I'm going to name it something different. It's called outro. And then when I save stuff, I try to save it in a folder where it's helpful. So I might save this in my branding folder. Let's say branding with that. Branding folder. And then I will go to Ecamm and my branding folder. And so it's really good to be organized. It helps. I'm not really good at being organized, but I try. All right. So, yep. I'll drop this. So if you give them something to watch, after they've just watched your video, whether it's a playlist or the video that YouTube recommends, then is my mic off again? No, I think my mic is on. Did I choose a scene and my mic went off? Hopefully that's what it is. Can you hear me now? Hopefully somebody said I might have went off there for a sec. Hopefully I did not. But anyway, let's see. Yeah, then Yolanda come from another stream. I was in chat this afternoon. She's been on several streams today, I know. That's what I was trying to figure out. Yep. So that's what the rundown is. Yeah. I think Mike might be off again for this scene, but I will double check. Oh, well, hopefully you're hearing me. Anybody confirm I'm still loud and clear. Anyway, yeah, it's back on now. So sorry about that. I'm not sure what happened. But you know, the point is that you definitely want to have end screens on your videos so that people know where to go next. You know, if you're doing a recorded video, even better, you tell them the specific video. Hey, we've just been talking about doing scenes. If you found that very helpful and you want to know about end screens, watch this video right now. This next. And then when you do your end screens, put the video about end screens at the end of the video right there so it shows up. So when you point to it, there it is. People like to be told where to go, and it increases the chances that they're going to click on that and go to that other video. You want to keep people on your channel, and YouTube wants to keep people on YouTube. So feed the machine, and the machine will treat you well. So that is it. That is my show for tonight. I thank you all so much for being here. Thank you for putting up with my audio issues. I do apologize about those. And here's my call to action. Subscribe. Yeah, here's the outro. Yeah. Anyway, subscribe to the channel, and YouTube's going to suggest a video that you watch. It's going to be over there. No, it's going to be over there. It's going to suggest you watch that video next. So go watch that next. Thank you, everybody, and have a great night. Bye.